Well, hello, and welcome back to Scream Fix. We about to get our scream on. It's me, Will, and as always, it's my illustrious co-host Brian, aka Feller.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
man, how you doing today, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm excited to scream.
Me
I
too.
don't know if it's been mentioned yet on this podcast, but got a new mouth guard. It's been really helping me out.
Oh,
If you grind your teeth at night, and really more, this is about clenching my teeth. Put this mouth guard in. Don't clench my teeth. Wake up, no headaches, sleeping so much better. And I feel like it's taking my screams to a whole new level
that's
because of that
key.
sleep. And no tightness in the jaw. So it's like I've always been a good screamer up there, top of my class, screaming 101. I could teach it, but now it's like, whoa! I've been playing with I feel like Goku taking off that training stuff, and it turns out it's like weighted. And you're like, whoa! I never knew that was weighted,
Oh yeah,
and now I'm like a whole nother level of screamer. So that's what's going on over here. What
exactly.
about you?
Okay, yeah, I feel that. Like Rock Lee, if in the
Broccoli's a better
in
example.
the.
You son of a bitch.
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to hear, you're taking your dental I don't know, hygiene isn't the right word, but you're taking it,
Mhm.
you're taking it up to the next level. I love
Mental
to hear
health,
it.
mental health.
Mental health, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm doing good and I also can't wait to scream. It's been a long day, been a long week. Uh, ready to kind of
Been a long week.
just kind of let some of that out. Um, but yeah, dude, I
Mm.
actually I can't even front, man.
Oh,
Did you see the most recent episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier? Because that ending, it just game changer, man.
yeah,
I got to talk
it
to you
was
about
amazing.
it.
Yeah, and not just the ending. I loved it all from the very beginning. We got a
Yep.
flashback, which I've been wanting, even without even knowing that I wanted it. Really, we got the Dora Miraji, we got the funeral, we got new Cap, new powers, and possibly his turn, as you already mentioned. Then the Zemo escape. I mean, that's like this has been one of the most fun episodes yet. Of
Yeah.
course, I watched it.
It really was good, man. And yeah, dude, just that we'll get to the ending, but just to kick it all the way back to the beginning, bro, that was an amazing scene. That was like one of the most
Hmm.
like emotionally powerful scenes in like all of the MCU, I feel like. And
Yeah. Yep.
bro, shout out Sebastian Stan. He's coming for Paul Bettany's Emmy, I feel
Yeah.
like.
I feel like these shows will somehow not get the proper awards they
Yeah,
deserve. I'm gonna go
I
ahead and say that now.
I agree. I think
Um,
that uh brain fart. Elizabeth Olsen though, like if somebody gets one, let's give it to her at least. Like 'cause
I
she
think it's kind of
destroyed it.
gonna be a yeah. I think it's gonna kind of be like a barrier breaking type of thing, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they'll do these for a while, and then somebody will break through and win. Because she's first, she might take the penalty on the head and be the one that should have gotten it, but they were still waiting. But hopefully not, and hopefully all these coming out at once are kind of making that turn that I'm talking about happen this season within itself of this award season that
Yeah.
is within itself. But I genuinely loved this episode. I
Was it
thought
your
that
favorite one yet?
yeah, for sure. Because I loved, as you mentioned, that the Sebastian Stan and Wakanda. I really wanted. This is everything that I wanted from the series in one episode. I thought the fight scene, just everything that they threw at me was like it's Christmas morning. I watch a lot of stuff and I love it all. I can find stuff that I don't like that if I watch enough of it, I'll find something I do and get attached to it. But
Yeah.
I'm notorious for loving things that really deliver on what I want, and so it's interesting that this is giving me like exactly what I wanted, and probably been saying on even the past couple episodes, like, "Hey, what about these things?" And they're like, "Oh, Brian, we're gonna get to that.
Just
Don't
you wait.
worry." And I should have just waited and been patient and known that they were going to do something. And it exceeded all my expectations. I will say the crying and everything and the flashbacks to the things that we've seen before on the different nightmare murders that he has stuck in his head. Like
Yeah.
that moment made it so powerful at the very beginning that everything else just felt like icing on the cake. So probably for me, I was blinded the rest of the episode. Like anything that happened, I was gonna be like, "This is the thing ever. This is happening. I'm so excited. Yes!" Because they just again met me perfectly with what I wanted and was expecting and hoping. Really, is probably the best word for the series. And said, "Here's everything."
Yeah.
So, hey,
Dude,
yeah.
dude, I agree. And I just love that like we're kind of getting to explore more of his time in Wakanda. And like
Hmm.
I mean, him and Ao, I feel like must have a pretty kind of like intimate, not in like a romantic way, but like an intimate relationship, like considering like she's the one that helped him kind of like finally bust through that barrier and be
Yeah,
free of all of that.
yeah.
So I hope that like, and I mean we only have 2 episodes left, so I don't know if it's really gonna get that much more fleshed out, but I would love to just see like more of the two of them interacting. And uh I mean, to jump ahead a little bit, just to make one note since I'm kind of on the subject, when in the fight scene with the Dora Milaje were fighting Cap, and then ended up kind of fighting Sam and Bucky too, and she freaking judo chopped his arm and it fell off.
Hmm.
That was like an awesome moment, and makes sense that they would do that, but I kind of wonder if like it was a if he felt kind of like betrayed in that moment, in
I
that
think
like
so.
they didn't trust him type of thing.
Yeah, he didn't know they could do that. And I felt like it was a kind of we've been through this special kind of everything you were just saying about like them having that special connection. I definitely think that was there and present in the scenes if you were looking at the reactions, especially because I really liked his face when she did that move. His face wasn't one of like anger or panic from like, oh no, now she's about to punch me in the face or something. It was of shock and
Yeah.
sadness. Not even I don't think betrayal, but just kind of like your parents aren't mad at you, they're disappointed in you. And you're like, oh shit. And he was like, wait, what? There's
Yeah.
a secret way to remove this arm and you never even told me about it. But I loved it, and again, if I was like, I hope they fight, it was like they fought, and it was awesome, and you got a moment like that. And really, this episode has so much. We'll probably be hopping all over the place, but I gotta just ask you this really bland vanilla question of
Yeah.
episode full of so much good stuff. What was just your favorite part?
I need you know me better than most, where I don't like to pick things. It's hard to
Yep.
get me to narrow something down and like choose it. But so I'll just
Yeah,
try to give
that's
you
why.
like
That's why I'm excited.
I'll give you my knee jerk reaction, and it was one of two things. It was either the opening sequence or the ending one. And just because like since we already kind of talked about the opening one, I love the ending just because it was fucked up, obviously, but like
Hmm.
I feel like it was like hauntingly, like chillingly kind of beautiful, like the shot, like the cinematography of that last shot with like the blood, and I was just like, that is what an awesome like a scene in a picture, like I don't know, I thought it was awesome, and it seemed like, and correct me or throw me your opinion if you think I'm wrong, but is that the most brutal scene in all of the MCU?
Yeah, I would probably quote the scene that it was mimicking if I was gonna pick something else where, the Winter Soldier and Cap are fighting Iron Man and he grabs the shield in the same manner. He goes,
Mm,
cow,
yeah.
and knocks him down. But he doesn't, draw blood. Instead of chopping his head off, he hits him in the chest where it's not a fatal blow, just kind of like giving him a flat tire. Um, and so I think that oh man, I don't know. It's such a beautiful moment, and there's so much other stuff even going on in it. I know we talked about it a little bit, and I had pointed out previously that the guy in the episode says when they're having that moment at the cemetery, like, "Hey, I used to be a Captain America fan," and then hours later, he's being murdered by the Shield.
Right,
But
yeah.
I think
Oof.
it even grows more powerful going back to what just happened before. I thought that was done so well with Hoskins comes in, total awesome moments for him. when he pulled out the knife to cut his self out, I was like screaming to my girlfriend. I was like, "I told you, this dude is the best. This dude's my new favorite guy." Then he runs in and he saves Captain America, the new Captain Johnny Walker. And even earlier on, I'm going to back up a little bit. When he was trying to negotiate the extra time given, he was like, "Yeah, this makes sense. Let's hear them out. Let's do this." So again, just doing all this awesome stuff, then saving Johnny Walker sees, and you're like, yes. And me especially, I'm like super turned up. And then she kicks him. He flies under the pole, and he looks like he's dead. I mean, I don't even know if he's dead, but just having that be the turn for Johnny Walker makes the scene powerful. But what I think they really nailed is everyone else in the room. I think a lot of people would get the shots of, Johnny saw that, now he's mad, but like everyone else in the room stopping what they were doing, taking off their mask, looking and be like, "Oh crap, did that guy just die? Like, what are we doing?" And I know it's something we mentioned on the last episode, but these aren't like even super soldiers. These are people, human beings with soldier serum in them, but they're not soldiers of war. They don't necessarily know exactly what this is all meaning and building up to. And all of a sudden, they've let a bomb off that's hurt people. They mentioned it. It's probably not the damage we thought it was in the last episode or our last episode, but damaged people and killed people. And now they've taken a human life. So all of that building up to this moment then where he's like, "I didn't even do this." And everyone else with the cameras out, like you said, it was just like I wouldn't have used the word beautiful, but I don't think you're wrong to use it. It's a beautiful moment. So I totally agree. And it's probably not my favorite part of the episode just because of how like strong my emotions were tilting towards the sad side. Whereas earlier on, the strong emotions that got me in that opening scene were tilted more to the like, "Oh, this is so beautiful. This is information I've always wanted," and it's just a
Yeah,
powerful moment in a happy way. But
right.
um, still, lots of questions for you from this episode again because there was so much going on. So
Yeah, there
I'm
was.
gonna hit you with another.
Okay.
This one is easy. Do you think Zemo actually got away? Do you think where he's gonna like show up in a couple scenes and be like, "Yeah, I just had to step out real quick because I didn't want to go off with the Mirage, Mirage,
Dora Milaje, I think.
Dora.
I mean,
I'll
I'm
get it in
probably
a second.
butchering it too, but that's what I
Oh,
think.
yeah, I would promise you that I definitely am. But do you think he'll come back and be like, "Hey, I was just getting away from them, not you guys"? Do you think he's gone for good? Do you think here in the next two episodes we capture him or he gets away? Where do you think he's? I'm very fascinated by this. I was asking this kind of like last episode because a lot of times we talk about villains in the MCU and he gets thrown in there as someone that everyone loves and he's still like available to kind of like be used again.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, hey, here it is time for us to maybe see for him to be released back into the universe to go do more cool stuff or become an anti-hero of some sort. But what are your thoughts? What do you think?
Um, I think we definitely see him again. Not like in general, yes, of course, but also in this show, which I'm not sure if which one you were necessarily asking about. But yeah, I think, I mean, unless they do something weird, I think he'll be in both the last two episodes. I mean, there's still unfinished business, um, which part of that, which I think Sam brought it up in this episode, because when they were talking, they're having a little moment, him and Zemo, about their like ideologies and stuff, and Sam was like, "Well, then what about Bucky? Because like Bucky's a super soldier too, you know." And that's kind
Hmm.
of like the unanswered, like the thing no one's talking about, because like Zemo's like hell bent on ridding the world of these people, right? And yet he's
Hmm.
like currently working hand in hand with one. So like, uh, is that eventually gonna hit the fan? Like, is he gonna? Well, not to stray too far away from your question. Yes, I think he's coming back, and um, if to not only see the Flag Smashers put to rest, then to maybe deal with Bucky as well, and now new captain as well if he finds that out, which I'm sure he will. Um, but just with him in that same conversation, kind of equating super soldiers, like if you want to be a super soldier, that's kind of like the same thing as like a supremacist kind of mindset or ideology. I'm butchering what he said, but he essentially equating like super heroes with supremacists. And I thought that was a really interesting um, parallel, and explains kind of his character motivations a lot. And he kind of has a point. I don't know if I'll necessarily call it a good point, but he definitely has a point. And he kind of chirped on it in one of the earlier episodes too, talking about like the dangers of lifting people like to such a high pedestal and getting like their zealous followers, and like just kind of what can happen. And I think he cited Red Skull as an example. And currently the only example that anyone has, and is what Sam brought up in this moment, was like, well, Steve Rogers. And he's like, well, yeah, Steve Rogers is the exception. um I don't know, I just kind of rambled there, but super interesting. And I liked that the point he made about wanting to be the super soldier, whereas because that's what Johnny Walker's doing. He's kind of going about it the wrong way because he's like lusting after that ability, whereas Sam straight up admitted he didn't want it. Bucky, it was forced upon him. He didn't want it, and Steve clearly, like, I don't think Steve didn't really know what it was, so I wouldn't say he like wanted the super serial soldier. He just like wanted to help his country, and that's what they gave him to do that. So yeah, that, that
Say he
was that was a
wanted
lot
it
of word
though.
vomit. But say
No,
again.
no, no. But I would say though that Cap wanted it. I mean, I don't know if he knew exactly the outcome would be, but I mean, he wanted the serum to, like you said, help his country. Um, Let me ask you this: the what does I'm trying to think of exactly how to ask that question or this question. Johnny Walker, does he have the shield next episode, or is it taken away from him immediately? What do you expect the fallout to be?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely taken away either by force or 'cause I don't know if he'd be willing to give it up. But I think it's definitely taken away, and partly because in all the trailers we've seen Sam and Bucky throwing it, and
Bucky
we
have it,
and we
yeah.
haven't seen those scenes yet. So clearly that's coming, and I think that's possibly coming next episode because either
I
they
agree.
take
I
it from
agree.
him, or well, I mean, I guess they take it from him because if the government took it back, I don't think the government would give it to them. Do you think?
I don't know. Maybe to be like, hey, we're taking this back. But yeah, I could see more so they were gonna take it back, and those two decided just to steal it again.
Yeah, I can
Um,
talking about this right now, I could almost see that's how like what happens immediately. Like we pick back up because they just saw him do that. I could see at very least Bucky, since he already said he was going to steal it from him, just being pissed that like he just tainted Steve's legacy like that and just go rip it away from him
yeah, those
immediately.
two fight him and beat him up, or maybe he gives it up willingly. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, and that because I don't know,
I mean,
but
remember his best friend just died, so it's not
right,
like that he just had a stroke and ran up in there killing everybody. Now I know that's what it's going to look like,
correct, yeah,
but I do want to say, as far as like all of us ganging up on this new Cap, saying he's not our Cap, it's like, well, his friend died, and that is what eventually drove him, and he didn't handle other situations well. But again, I think a lot of that was designed to show us why, hey, these people are good, but these people don't deserve the shield. And we were talking about that last episode,
yeah,
and I thought that Sam again this episode was showing us exactly why he deserved the shield. He went in and talked to the girl, had the "she's just a kid" line, which really
yeah.
mimics very well the whole "she's just a kid" when our old Cap was talking about Wanda at one point. And
Oh
so,
yeah,
yeah, so just like really good parallels there to like show again, hey, you know who would be a good Cap would have been Sam, the
yeah,
obvious choice, and really kind of showing us more so why probably Cap knew he needed to give the shield to Sam. So showing us Sam's good, but then also showing us, hey, Steve wasn't an idiot. He picked the guy for a reason. Let us just show you why. And that's kind of what some of this series has begun to feel like to me. Wanda's series was really in the brass tacks. I want to introduce these couple new people into the magic universe, and she's the Scarlet Witch now. And this one's feeling more like we're gonna bring some of these people back that have been on the side to get them some more screen time. and Sam's the new Captain America now.
Yeah.
But they gave him the shield already, but now they're showing us how he picks up the mantle without anyone being pissed when the next movie starts and he's Captain America. It's like, no, we like the decision more now because we see how he wrestled with it and how everyone else around him handled that situation. Here now starting with the government who
Yep.
replaced him and they did a poor job. But Bucky, who's giving him grief and stuff, I still expect Sam to have some kind of moment. I've now latched on to your idea. They're going to steal the shield at the very beginning of this next episode. And then they're gonna go to Hawkeye's farm, I think, and maybe we get a Hawkeye
Ooh,
cameo, and that's when they're throwing the shield is out near somewhere Hawkeye is.
interesting.
Or I thought the other place that I know has like a outside area is that lake cabin, that lake house. So maybe Pepper Potts makes a cameo
Oh,
with the
Like
daughter.
Tony's lake house.
Yeah, maybe out
Hmm.
there.
Well, his sister also has one, presumably, right?
Oh, yeah, his sister has something in the bayou. I don't know if they'd call
Yeah.
it a
Well,
lake house. He
yeah,
has
just because she
something.
was on the docks. That's the only reason I said that. So I was like, lake. I guess
And we
it.
had another sister phone call this episode, which I thought was funny. Now two phone
It's the
call
phone
conversations with
call.
her. Felt like it might have been COVID restrictions or just, finding ways to get her screen time because I thought she's been really good. I liked the other one that she had last episode where she's like, I gotta go, Sam. And he's like talking about the bank. He's like, yeah, I'm big time at the bank.
I'm gonna
Thought that
rob
part was
that
funny.
bank or kill that
Yeah,
banker
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
I'm big time for show. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, that would be my sister's reaction too. Um, but so yeah, I thought that was a good way to show Sam being a good choice for Captain America. And
Yeah.
then my other question that I wanted to ask you is, do you
Wait.
think
Pause.
Hoskins is actually
Oh.
dead? Pause. 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 Pause.
Well, it's because I wanted to go a little bit more on that Sam thing real quick. Yeah, I agree that that's kind of what this show is showing us that who's right, what makes the person right and wrong for Cap, and really that it's a very very rare thing. And I think we probably already said this, so I'm just gonna retread old material. But that line,
Love it.
nothing special, everything special about you came from a bottle. We're finding out that the complete opposite is true. Like Steve was very special, and those same qualities that made him special, or we're seeing those in Sam, which probably why he picked him. But
Yeah, and even to your point there with the bottle, other people have taken it and not done what he's done, and it's not worked out. So
yep.
really good point.
And I love just one other thing on Sam real quick, especially in that moment of him trying to de-escalate and talk to Carly, which I think is what Steve would do. I just love that
Mhm.
we got a little bit more of that side of him from, because I haven't really touched on it since Winter Soldier, was that he was like a counselor, like a
Mhm.
PTSD like veteran dude. And so I like that we got to see like that kind of facet of him again. And I wonder if that would, I wonder if that will even come into play with Johnny Walker, like, because clearly he's suffering from PTSD. And we can kind of dive in more on him later. I don't want to get too sidetracked in that direction right now, but I would love to see like maybe Sam have some empathy for him and maybe try to help him as well, because maybe he can kind of recognize that, you know, everything he's going through. But
Yeah,
so yeah, sorry. Just wanted to get that out before the next question in case we shifted gears completely.
yeah, no. But diving right into Johnny Walker, I think is good. And then the first question I've got is, do we think Hoskins is dead? And why I think that's a Johnny Walker question is because if he's not, then the motivation for his kill becomes even more hollow. It's
Yeah,
like, and he
that's
didn't even
true.
die, but he does like go over there, check his pulse and everything.
Yeah.
So
So I think he's dead. I hope he's not, just because, like you, like I loved that character, and I would love to see
yeah.
more from him. But I do think he's dead, if only because they did get like
Mm,
he did go check his pulse. Even it looks like, and how are you gonna like this kind of a betrayal to the audience if like next episode they're like, oh, he's fine, like they went too far into like saying he's dead for them to be like JK. But the point you said though about it kind of making him murdering that dude like that much more like worse if it ends up he's not even dead. That I mean that's a good point, and so maybe they could do something like that with it. But unfortunately, I think he's probably dead, which sucks, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that really does suck. I like already was fanboying him, so
Me
that's
too,
pretty
dude.
hard for
And
me.
I think you were even the one that was mentioning it in our last up, just talking about how he was Cap's kind of like moral compass, even, and the one that was kind of like keeping him on track and like his right hand man,
Yeah.
like his Bucky, his Sam, and so
And
and
now
that,
he's on that serum and doesn't have
yep,
that guy.
and
So
yeah, but yeah,
what
I
if
go
man,
ahead.
I can't get over this idea you're putting in my head of them taking the shield at the beginning of the next episode. And I thought, what if Zemo just drops down too and helps them take out Johnny Walker because he's like, yeah, he's a super soldier. And then they're fighting Zemo, stopping him from killing that guy. Like one of those weird dynamic fights where like who's fighting who?
Yeah,
Zemo's fighting the new Cap. The new Cap's fighting all three of them. They're fighting the new Cap, but not letting Zemo hurt him. It would just be an interesting fight. I could see them doing something fun like that.
I could see
But
that as well. I hope that he just gives it up though, because I would like that for his character. Like
it would be a chance to win some points.
yeah, because I mean, you already know that I've been not team New Cap, but like I like Johnny Walker like as a character, and so like I said, I hope he stays in the MCU. He might get killed in this show, which I kind of think he might now that the way things are going, but um, I think he's a
I don't
good
think he
guy.
will.
Like he has good
I don't think he's gonna
intentions.
die.
You
Just gonna
don't?
say
I hope not,
no,
because
because
like I would love
I
to
still
see
think
him.
he'll come back and they'll do more stuff with his girlfriend they showed us. I think they wouldn't have introduced us to her if she wasn't gonna be in it more, and I don't think she has a real good place to fit in without Johnny Walker being there. So I see like those two going off and then coming back up somewhere where it's like, whoa, cameo, guess who it is? This guy, and he's doing much better because his wife has been helping him. I still see her playing a big role, just like I thought I'd see Hoskins play a big role, which he's
Yeah,
not playing the role I thought he would, but still, it's a very linchpin type of thing, kind of like the Avengers needed someone to avenge.
right.
Um, he's probably gonna die, so this Cap can get his shit together, which I know doesn't look like what just happened, but I think hopefully this is the point of no return where he hits rock bottom and then it's like, oh, okay, I have like a real problem of inferiority complex because I mean he really just gets his ass kicked and then it's like I'm doing this.
Yeah,
And what I did like was that Zemo ran up on the girl, smashed all the vials, and tried to kill her. Like
I love
you
that
mentioned
too.
this last episode that he's like really true to his cause. Like you might not agree with him, but he's not bending over backwards, being a hypocrite at any point in time. He's making the tough decisions and not even hesitating because he knows where he stands. So, again, I thought they fleshed him out more again this episode, like you had mentioned they had in the previous.
And I was worried.
Also, oh, go ahead.
I was worried for a second when he like shot her and then the things poured out and he's like, is this what I think it is? I was worried for a second they were gonna like make him take one. And I was gonna be like, don't do that. And so I was so happy when he just freaking smashed it. I was like, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And then with somebody's absence this episode makes me confirm a suspicion you put in my head last time we spoke, which is that I think Sharon Carter is definitely the power broker. I don't know how popular of a theory that is. That might be really popular, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. And you're like the first person that I saw say that, so it makes me really excited.
I don't. I mean, I think she could be, but I think I'm more leaning towards she works for them and like is like a high lieutenant of theirs. But I could see it being her, like just her as well. But
What if it's like Samuel L. Jackson, but she's like the representative?
yeah, it could be something like that. I don't think it's Samuel L. Jackson, but yeah, I could see it being that type of like relationship. But like yeah, this episode we saw her walking, through Madripoor, like past like a dozen armed guards, and they all like, gave her like the nod or whatever, like, and then she has access to satellites, and it's just like she's very well connected and powerful in that world. So like, if not the power broker, then I feel like she's connected.
Um, Carly, we got to see more of her this episode with the funeral, and then through the conversation with Sam. Did you walk away this episode with a different opinion of her, or not really?
Slightly. Here's my thing, and I'll try not to wax too poetic on this. Is I feel like the show. I feel like she's kind of a Captain America stand-in as well, like from the other side of things. Which even I think Nico, the guy that got hit with the shield at the end, even like said like you'd be a good Cap. Because it's somebody else that has the super soldier serum, and their ideals are kind of on the other side, but she's also going about it the wrong way. Um,
Yeah, that's a really good point. She's a good sounding board for Sam to be able to say things like, "I believe in your cause, and I think your ideals are things that I understand and believe in." It allows him to say that out loud to us and be like, "Oh, this is how Sam feels. Okay, cool,
yeah,
Sam, cool, cool, cool. I like it. I like it. I like it."
and I feel like that's what
Um,
the show's like wanting you to like. I think Sam even says that he's like, yeah, I'm with you on all of this. You're just doing it the wrong way. Like you've
mhm.
killed people and stuff, which I think her and New Cap are kind of on the same level. If anything, she might be a little bit worse because she kind of killed some innocent people. I feel like where
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Cap, just brutally murdered a defenseless guy, and so I'm not saying that that was right, but
Oh, really? No.
but I feel like they're trying to make. I feel like as the audience, they're trying to make us like want to be Team Carly, but I feel like she's just as morally guilty, if not more, than Cap, who like we're supposed to kind of be rooting against, if that makes sense. So like, I don't know, I empathize with her as much as I empathize with Cap, but I don't think that like if they team up, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. Like if Carly teams up with Sam and Bucky to like accomplish something, because she's just as like compromised as Cap is to me. Like I don't think I think I don't know. I think it'd be weird for them to work with her and not have worked with Cap, if that makes sense.
I think, yeah, I think a thing that they were trying to show us too this episode, and really you drove the point home on a bigger scale of like this is Captain America from the government's point of view, and this is Captain America from the refugee displacement
Mhm.
point of view of the people against the man. And both sides said, "I want to take the serum to make the world a better place from my point of view."
Yeah,
Where Sam's turned down the shield, said he would turn down the serum, and was trying to make the world a better place. Period. You know,
yeah,
not just for these people, not just for America, but trying to do the right thing. And I think that's again just trying to provide the opportunity for Sam to continue to prove in this universe and world that he is the next guy who's fit for the job. Because he did say no to the serum, and he is willing to look at both sides and points of view, and he doesn't want to do violence as a first, second, or third choice if he thinks there's another way out. And I think that's the Captain America that people need is getting talked into doing the right thing. And I think he was in the middle of doing that with her. Um,
yeah,
and she even went back to him again, basically had that conversation, got betrayed, but he was so good that she was willing to call and set up another meeting
yeah.
and do that whole second dance. Um, so again, I walked away thinking, "Oh man, he almost saved her, but now she's gone all the way." And then in the next scene, she ends up killing somebody. And I mean, there's really no going back from that.
Yeah,
Not that she can't turn herself in and become a better human down the line and rejoin the team, but I think at this point she's said, "I'm a villain now because I just killed this person, and now I've gone this far for the cause. I can't not keep going." I feel like it's going to be her thing.
I could
And
see
they're not
that.
going to be able to say like, "Come in and team up with us now" because she killed somebody.
Yeah, I hope not.
So
That's so we're on the
I don't
same
think
page
I don't
there.
think they can there. I think now they would be like, "Oh, we have to arrest you.
Well,
You killed this guy."
what if well, yeah, yeah, that's a good point. So I really hope they don't now, especially that you said that because that is true. But
There's
one,
no, I don't. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm kind of I'm not switching gears, but if you had something on this,
No,
just
no, 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 no.
okay. I was just gonna say on the part that didn't really make sense to me. I don't know if it's like from a writing standpoint or what, but like so they that whole point of that mission is to kill Captain America. Like she says that, like, we want to take down the shield or whatever. And that's why they're ambushing him in that final conflict in that final set of scenes.
Well, do you think they could have been just trying to steal the shield from him?
I think she even said like she wanted to kill him, didn't she? I don't remember, so I don't want to say because I don't really remember, but I thought it was to kill him. But so that, which I guess that's wrong, but let's just pretend that's right for now. So that was the plan, was to like ambush him and take him out. So, but they get Hoskins, and it's not actually Carly, it's other people. So okay, I was like, why are they tying him up? Like, aren't they trying to kill these dudes? And I'm like, okay, maybe because it's not actually Carly, and maybe because it's not actually Cap. They're just like, we'll tie this guy up because he's just. It doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like they would think he was just as culpable, and if they hate Cap that much, shouldn't they hate his like partner? But anyway, so they tie him up and don't kill him, and then he breaks out and comes and saves Cap, and that's when Carly kills him. And I feel like everyone in the room, like you said, is kind of like shocked, which yes, but including herself, which doesn't make sense to me. It's like, you're the one that just set up this whole mission and you just literally killed him. Why are you shocked that you just killed him? Like,
Yeah, but I think they wanted to kill Cap, not this other guy. They wanted to kill Cap for the symbol, and they wanted to destroy that, and not some random dude. And I think you got to remember the rest of the team was anti the violence that they just did. They were like, "Yo, what the heck?" And she was like, "This is the only thing they understand."
well, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not like
I'm
any of the other
just talking
guys.
about her.
I know, but I'm saying in that room, it's not like anyone else in that room that was wearing the mask is a violent person, and that's why I don't think they did anything to Hoskins when they got him. They just tied him up because they're not violent people,
Yeah, well,
and they
okay,
were gonna
I'll
let her.
take that.
Yeah, and so then they were gonna let her be the violent one and do this thing to this guy, and whoops, she ends up accidentally killing another dude, and everyone's like, "Whoa, crap!" Um, what's funny is that guy at the end begs, for his life. He's like, "Wait, whoa, no, sorry,
Yeah, he's
that
like, it
dude's a
wasn't
super
me.
soldier." Yeah, he's a super soldier.
Yeah,
He didn't even use his strength at the end. At the end of it all, he put his hands up over his face and cried for help. And I think that goes back into like highlighting who you are and making you yourself more of whatever you are inside. Like that guy wasn't a bad person. That guy wasn't a killer. Whereas Johnny Walker at the end of the day seems to have some kind of intense inside feelings, conflict about, being a violent guy and having violent tendencies. And so that now in the serum, presented with the situation of his best friend being murdered right in front of him, sent him over the edge and brought out his, like I said, tendencies, and the
yeah,
the violence got the better of him.
yeah. I mean, like the serum, from the first Cap makes good great, makes bad worse. Which, so I'm not that Johnny Walker's bad, but those demons he has are amplified now. But I do think I still just empathize with him. Like again, he should have murdered that dude in cold blood that was defenseless, but like and the show's gone out of its way to show this in multiple forms, but he's at heart he's trying to do the right thing. Like he's trying to be a good Cap. He's trying to like he's not an evil dude that just wanted the serum to be strong. I mean, even in this episode when he had it, he still had that like moment with Battlestar like asking him, he's like, would you take it? Like, he was kind of like probing that. Whereas if he was just, gung ho evil, he would have just taken it immediately and not even thought about like the consequences of it. So I'm going into retreading ground here, but like I empathize with him. I hope we see more of him. And I've seen so many comments from people just straight hating him, which I get, but I don't know. I feel like people aren't kind of giving him a fair shake.
Hard to uh, replacing who you replace to get a fair shake from the
Agreed.
media
And
and
like
people.
that's part of it though. Like imagine the pressure of like trying to fill those shoes and like that, and he like feels like he's constantly been failing every step of the way. So like while I don't agree with what he's doing, I feel like it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but I'm talking more so instead of Johnny Walker filling Steve Rogers' shoes. I mean, Wyatt filling Chris Evans' shoes. And so I think that's where a lot of people are gonna,
Oh,
you know,
interesting.
have an opinion and be like, oh, you're not Chris Evans. I'm not cheering for you, and look what you did. Whereas, like, I mean, we've seen Cap in some pretty upset and desperate moments, and Cap's murdered people before.
True.
It just wasn't necessarily an innocent person, and I do think it's kind of funny that you said, he murdered a defenseless guy. I mean, that guy's a super soldier who was holding him down, and it
Right.
was the guy that was holding him while his friend got murdered.
Yeah,
So
he wasn't innocent.
he was, yeah, and he wasn't necessarily defenseless. People say if you're a boxer, your arms and or whatever are registered weapons. Like this guy's a super soldier. He
Yeah,
has a super soldier serum running through him. He could cause serious violence in one punch throw.
you're right. You're right.
I don't know that he was necessarily like defenseless. Now, it was the completely stricken to his core and rendered defenseless. Yes, could have been handled better, of course, but it's not like he killed an unarmed guy. The guy had the serum in him. That to me is a weapon.
Yeah.
Period. And the guy just murdered another person. So again, to your point, I think that there's a lot of slack that if you want to, you can cut this guy, but then most people aren't going to because he's not Chris Evans, because he's not Steve Rogers. And I mean, I'm kind of one of those people. I don't think I don't think he had any business doing doing everything he did. Like, don't try to. Okay, see, this sounds bad because I'm gonna be like, don't try to make the world a better place. At the end of the day, is kind of what I'm saying here. But don't try to do something that you're not. Like, I think I said it in one of our earlier episodes. Like, he's just a human being. Like, that can't be. He must have powers, and he's lying about it. Because if he's just a human being, cruel to send this guy into this place and ask him to fill the shoes of Captain America. It's like, dude, he doesn't belong in this world. You're not setting him up in a fair situation. And he got his ass kicked and he realized, man, this sucks. I'm like nothing. I can't do this without the serum, which is like the exact opposite of what you want from Captain America.
Right. Which, that's the problem with the government picking who it is, because they pick a good soldier, which was never the point with Steve. He actually wasn't a very good soldier by like the normal metrics of what would make a soldier good. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's not right for this job, but I think he's a good guy with good intentions. And he was a good soldier, but he's just not right for Captain America because that's not what makes a good Cap. But I thought,
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he's struggling with PTSD. In that same scene where they were talking, where he was asking about, like, would you take the serum? They brought up, how he got his 3 medals of honor and, like, the terrible stuff they had to do that day. And so, like, clearly, even his
Yeah.
highest accolades are, like, tainted with, some dark shit that probably happened.
Yep.
And
And they do a good job of mentioning that. I think he said, medals to remember the worst day of my life. I thought
yeah,
that was powerful dialogue.
and something, another interesting point from that convo was that Hoskins, he said, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, I'd take it. Like I'd take it in a heartbeat." And he goes, "Imagine how many people we could have saved if we'd had the serum that day." And it's just interesting because then Cap takes the serum and he's unable to save his best friend. You know,
Yeah. I mean, very, very true. Saved him in every situation before, throwing the
Mm.
shield, everything. But in this situation, he brought a gun to a gunfight and it upped everybody's game, and then his buddy ended up paying the price for it. Do you think there's a chance that he took it and Hoskins took it, and that's maybe how Hoskins lives?
I think there's a chance, but I don't think so. But I wouldn't be the craziest thing for a comic book movie to do if that's what they say. But like I almost was wondering before it was revealed that he had taken it, if we were going to see him like in another scene, like split it with them or something, and it was going to be like, all right, they only had half the serum, so how does that affect them? But
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, they'll split it and they'll be half serum guys.
yeah,
That'll be good. Because because I was gonna say, his body being one that was already studied by MIT plus the serum, even if it was half serum, might make him like a special level. As I've always talked about, I'm trying to always put everybody in levels to figure out who's where.
Yeah.
But I think knowing the little bit I do about the comics and him becoming the U.S. agent, I think they're building up well to that because he can say, "I'm not fit to be Captain America, but I can still serve my country. And I'm gonna go do that over here as the U.S. agent. You guys can fuck around with that shield if you want."
Yeah. I could even see him getting like recruited by somebody like uh Thunderbolt Ross or like some other character that maybe we don't know yet that's like kind of a more shady like operator in the government, like a Nick Fury maybe kind of that is like using him. It's like, hey, yeah, I know that you're not Cap anymore, but we'll come run some covert black missions are
Covert!
that are off the record.
Off the record, covert.
Oh yes.
Please come check out our covert.
Perform my mission.
Um,
uh one thing real quick, I kind of already glossed over this, but the Wyatt Russell to Chris Evans comparison. Some people paid him for that. I'm not saying he's Chris Evans, but I think Wyatt Russell's been killing the role personally. Like I think he's done really good, and he's like even added. I watch each episode a couple times, so I notice weird things. But like he's added like nervous like tics and stuff that he does. You can kind of tell
I've been
he's
calling
like
those out the whole time. I've been calling all these out the whole time. It's making me wonder. That's why I thought he might have something in him already, and
yeah.
he was
Well, bro,
always
I thought he
like
was a mutant,
on
so
edge. Yeah, fair
he
enough.
is a
I'm hearing
mutant.
that. He
But
might be. He might be. He might be. But I liked that small stuff too, and I like him as an actor. Just to throw it out there, everybody wants some. He was really good in that. Love that.
agreed. But yeah,
Love that movie.
I
Love
just
that
wanted to
movie.
throw that out there since that's which I actually haven't seen much of that in terms of people like hating Wyatt Russell, which I'm sure they do because people are incapable of separating
Yeah, and I
truth
don't know
from
if it's gonna
fiction.
come
But
out as I hate Wyatt Russell. I think it's gonna come out as this new cap sucks because he's not Chris Evans. I think
yeah,
that'll be deep seated in
Mm.
some people's hate. But I thought he's been doing a great job. I don't even really think of him as Captain America. I think of him as the U.S. agent because I know
yeah,
that's where he's headed and what he
yeah.
becomes. So I've just known that it's temporary. He's going to get off of it. Let's watch what he does with it. Oh, this has been good. I thought he really owned some of these scenes, especially when he got his ass kicked. I thought like his emotion afterwards was great. I also loved seeing the Dora Malaji. There we go. Dora Malaji hold the shield, even though it was for like 2 seconds.
That was awesome. That whole scene
And
was awesome.
yeah, for sure, that was so good. And I liked how Zemo just dipped out in it, and the way that he did. I thought that was good as well. Um, but I'm ready to scream if you are.
Well, shoot. I feel like hold on. Let me make sure. We talked about Sharon, right? Oh, one thing I did want to say that I had
Okay.
not heard of this until I was actually looking at some discussions after this episode.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Did you know that they had to do reshoots and stuff because of COVID?
So I only started thinking they might have because of the phone. I mentioned this, I think, even earlier, potentially. Maybe I didn't say it, but because of the sister doing all the phone calls and the way they're filming those, it made me feel like that they were possible reshoots due to COVID or filmed that way due to COVID restrictions. So I did not know that, but I started to kind of get suspicious that that was the case.
Well,
But so they did a bunch of research or
so
a little
like
bit of research?
beyond even that aspect of it, they apparently there was, because this was in production way before Corona was a thing, there was apparently, and you can you can see remnants of it, and I can give a couple examples. Are you going to die?
Yes.
There was apparently plot lines about like a disease or a plague that were going to be in this show, but because of Corona, they were like, oh shit, and so they like
Bad taste. Bad taste.
so they did reshoots and they kind of even edited existing shots to just make it work. And you can kind of see remnants of the evidence of that. And so one, I'm just curious what the original story beat would have been, but like in the first or second episode with the truck fight, they go to the warehouse, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a bunch of vaccines." And that's just like all we ever heard about that. And then the the Carly's not her mom, but that the I don't know what her relationship is, but the lady that died, Donya or something, she died of some sort of disease that's not mentioned, and the guy that's making the super soldier serum is like, yeah, she called me to see if I could help, you know, help with this disease or whatever. And I think they like did additional dialogue recording to like change stuff because he like there's a couple parts where like the camera swaps off whoever's talking, but their voice is still going. So it's like, they added in a line to make the scene make sense in
Yeah.
this new context.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but anyway, I don't really have a point further than this, but I just didn't even know about any of that until like a couple days ago. And I was like, oh, I had no idea that they changed story beats and stuff because of Corona.
Yeah, I did not know that at all.
So I'm hoping at some point we get to find out what was going on there. And it does kind of make sense because like the whole don't again, I don't know what to call her, but Donya, her mentor, Carly's mentor, whatever, whoever she is, it felt just kind of weird because like we're like they've mentioned her, we see her die, we go to her funeral, but like there's never been any significance as to who she is, or like what role she plays. So I feel like that must have been
She
stuff that was.
rescued all the children.
What do you mean?
Madani, she's the one who like rescued all these displaced refugee children.
Okay, like the flag smashers themselves, or like the literal children, or both?
The so and this is probably way more than what you were asking for in your question, classic me, but the flag smashers are a group of people that they get called refugees and they're like, we're not seeking refuge from anything. And the snap happened, everyone left, then people who were less fortunate got help from the people who were more fortunate, invited into cities and borders and places that they weren't before, as like one people one world type thing. Then second snap, now all these people are back and it's like, oh well, I need this space back. So this person now that I've invited to come into this building, I'm kicking out for the resident who had lived there before. And the GRC got created, but it wasn't to help all the displaced people. It was to help all the people who came back. And so the
Right.
displaced people, I think, are people that Mahadani had been helping before and after the snap. And that was their relationship. And one of those buildings was one of the abandoned buildings that they had probably used to house these displaced people. And so that's I think her place in all this was that she was one of the people who led the charge in helping and I'm just going to keep using the word displaced people.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was you know who or where she got the calling really, because all these people she would have never have met, or she would have hated if she grew up somewhere else. We're all protected by
Right.
Mahadani and
Okay.
sought refuge from her. They built that family, and then she goes to, on their behalf, change the world so that they can all be helped.
Okay. Yeah. So she was kind of like den mother to all these people and kind of like what brought them together. That makes
Yep,
sense.
I believe so.
Okay.
Man, such a good episode though.
It
Really
was.
liked
And
it.
I two other quick things I wanted to hit you with. One,
Yeah, hit me, hit me, hit me.
two things I loved that I forgot to mention earlier with Bucky. We got two kind of throwbacks to other Winter Soldier stuff. The first one was when he put his arm back on. Oh, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yep,
I
yep,
love
yep.
that. I love that callback. And then we also got a knife flip callback in one of the fight scenes, which like was his
Yeah, I
iconic
loved.
moment.
Yeah, I loved that because it spawned so much on Twitter with the behind the scenes knife work that he did in his other movies. And seeing those videos and stuff is so cool, man. Like
Yeah, I eat that
the
shit up
MCU
too.
really knows, yeah, the MCU really knows how to pick people. They get the most dedicated actors, willing to go through, nonstop kind of training. And seeing some of those this past week, all of them, Sebastian Stan's like, I'll do whatever you guys say, just show me and then like teach me how to do it, and then I'll do it, like
Yep.
whatever y'all want. And
Shout out. Sarah Finn, remember?
No.
Sarah
What?
Finn is the we had this exact combo. Sarah Finn is the casting person for all Marvel stuff.
Yep. Okay, I didn't know we were going back to that
Yeah,
again. I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
Sarah Finn was good with knives or something. No, but yeah, just really think they're always landing on people, and seeing that this week was really fun.
Agreed. All right, I had one last thing. This is I wanted to get your opinion on. Um, Another thing I found out this week that I didn't know. So Sharon
Mm,
Carter, right?
yes, Sharon
She,
Carter.
helps the crew during Civil War, and from that point on, she's like person non grata, on the run. That's when we find her in Madripoor, and she's made. If she's a power broker or whatever she is, she's made a nice place for herself. She's very connected,
Mhm,
very wealthy, even.
mhm, mhm,
Um,
mhm.
to me, I was like, okay, she got screwed. She's been on the run for 5 years. She's had all this time, from Civil War to where we are now. It's been like 5 or 6 years. That's the time she spent, you know, building this reputation, and that's how she's built this life for herself. Anyway, come to find out, they're trying to say she got snapped. So it's hard for me to believe that if she's been snapped for 5 years, how is she this like connected in Madripoor?
She's
I
been on
don't
the
buy
run
it.
since they stole the shield. How long ago was that?
Well, people were snapped for 5 years, so like maybe there was like a
Well, when they
year.
stole the shield, they stole the shield way before the snap,
It's like a
right?
year, I feel like.
So okay, well that's a pretty long time to be on the run.
Right, but so even
She's
let's
on
say
the
she
run
did
for a
some stuff for
year.
a year, then she's gone for 5 years. Whatever she had is gone. She would have to like restart, right? Unless she just had that much clout. I was like, I'm
I
back,
mean,
bitches.
I think she gets back. I don't think you lose all your reputation when you get snapped. I think when you come back, you still have your gold. You still have all the items you had.
Do you
You
though? I mean,
still
that's
have your
that's what we're going through with all these
reputation.
people that are displaced. They got
I think
fucked.
that you do. I think that you do. I think that you do. I think you get that stuff back.
Well, I don't buy that. So my headcanon is that she didn't get snapped and they just thought she did because she was off the grid. So that's what I'm choosing to believe until the show tells me I'm wrong, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Writing that down. Sharon snapped. What the fuck?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting upset. I need to scream, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna scream out as if I was in a situation that I didn't know was about to get violent, and then it did, and then I got stabbed with a knife.
So
What?
is it like angry or like painful? Like is it like you're mad or like you're hurt?
You'll find out when I scream.
Okay, I'm thinking
Mhm.
about kind of doing justice to my guy here that I'm repping on my shirt, and it's gonna be
Okay,
Kermit
okay.
finding out that the judge didn't rule in his favor, and Miss Piggy in their second divorce has now
Oh,
taken has taken everything from him again.
oh no. Damn. All right.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right.
All right, you want to give us the countdown?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right.
Can you see my hands?
Yeah, I can.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Oh shit. What?
Miss Piggy!